Hello everybody, welcome to this edition of Mopar Mike's Garage. Today we're going to talk Chargers. Alright, so today we're going to introduce you to the old man's car, which happens to be a 1969 Dodge Charger. There we go. She's a Butte Clark. This Charger is not an RT or an SE. It's a base model Charger, factory 383 car, automatic 727 torque flight. So this car started life, came out of the Hamtramck plant as a 383 two-barrel base model Charger. It was a cream yellow, which if you look, you might be able to see, I think it's like Y3 yellow, but that there is the original color. Factory vinyl top car. It was an air conditioning car, which kind of rare for the day. And then the other kind of cool feature about this one is it is actually a factory electric sunroof. So Chargers came with either electric sunroofs or hand crank sunroofs. But yeah, there she is. A little switch right there. So I believe this one is one of 226 or something like that. Base model Chargers. There was only 100 and some made as an RT with the sunroof, but so yeah, that's we can start with the interior here. So yeah, like I said, saddle tan, needs a vacuuming. Everything's pretty much original here. We did add a tranny temp gauge, and when the old man bought it, it did have this tack in here. It doesn't have the tick-tock tack or anything like that. It's just got the clock in there, and then the old 150 mile an hour speedo. So just a AM radio, nothing fancy there. It's a council car, so it's not on the column, anything like that. But so yeah, currently it's painted a 1973 root beer brown, which I think came in the early 70s Chargers. So this, for those that aren't familiar with Chargers, this body style would be the second generation of Charger. So that was 68, 69, and 70 all had this similar body style. The identifying features of the difference, easy way to tell, 68 had round marker lights here, like the Bullet car in the Bullet movie. 69 had rectangular reflectors, and 70s the side markers actually lit up front and rear. So that's really the difference here. 68 and 69 both had a grill like this. The only difference is 69 has this eyepiece in the center, but they all had the hideaway headlights in here. And then 68 had round taillights, which again you can see in the Bullet movie, and then 70 had taillights similar to the 69, just this style here. 70s were slightly different with the chrome around the light and the top here, but they looked very similar to this. They all had the pop top quick fill gas cap. So I spent a lot of time with this, so it's a good thing it's a cool feature, because they're thirsty. So this one does not have factory exhaust, anything like that. It's got some nice loud side pipes. We put the little Super Bs on there because of the Scat Pack Bs, just because that's a cool, true Mopar thing. But yeah, so this is it. The man bought this for when he turned 40. So I was pretty little when he got this thing, but it came out of northern Minnesota. Drove it back. Ended up that the heads that were in it were ported so thin that it had a real bad overheating. A lot of power, but overheated really bad. So ended up they put a factory set of heads on it, and that solved that issue, but lost a little bit of horsepower to it too. But it's still a very fun car. The motor that's in it now, we can pop the hood here. It's a 383 big block, smallest big block they make. This one's punched out 60 over, has a pretty lumpy bump stick in it. Aftermarket intake, some headers on it. No name headers, but we did put the bigger oil pan in it. We blew this motor up, man, that's almost 15 years ago now. Took a lobe off the cam and spun a bearing on it, and ended up finding out that was because it had just a small oil pan on it, and it looked like every time you launched it hard that it was starving for oil, because when they did the heads they put a high volume oil pump on it, or maybe it was right after we did the heads, and so we were sucking the pan dry and starving the engine for oil. So we fixed that. We put a 7-quart pan on it that now there's plenty of oil, and then these things are such a pain with the change oil filter on, so we put the remote filter on it and everything. Did that a couple years ago. We put a TCI trans in it because we fried the one that was in it and tore all the gaskets out, all that happy stuff. So that was a project. But yeah, so this thing, I don't really have much for build specs on it, but she's healthy. Scoots this big boat along pretty well. None of the AC stuff for the car is installed, but we do have it all. It came in a tote, separate to the car. But yeah, that's the bulk of it here. I'll go around and show you a couple other little details on it here if I can, and we'll go from there. So coming down this side here, you can see that's one of the ways to tell it was a AC car, the air temp sticker, if you excuse the sawdust. Here I popped the cover on it to steal the battery for the General, and then I had a few projects going on and didn't get it back down, so I got a little sawdust on off the duster off. But yeah, so definitely fun car to drive. So the seat belts here is the shoulder straps. All up on the side here you've got lap belts and shoulder straps. We just use the lap belts because the shoulder straps elastic is pretty well out of them and everything. But yeah, that's the bulk of it here. It had a new headliner in it when he got it, new carpet. The driver's side floor pan was replaced with a patch pan. So, like I said, this car came out of northern Minnesota, so it's kind of weird options. At one point, it was drag race with a 440, is what we were told. And so it's tied in and everything. It's got subframe connectors, all that happy stuff. Had a drive shaft hoop, all that. 391 gears in the back, so she screams going on the highway. But it sure does launch hard, that's for sure. But it's not a show queen by any means, but it's a damn great driver. So real fun car. But yeah, that's the Charger. So we've got a few things we've got to do to this thing here. But first thing before we get it off the skates or get it out for the season is end of season. Last year, and all of a sudden I'm looking and it's like something doesn't look right over here at this end of the motor, and the belt was squealing when you drive her up here for the alternator. And so I was like, wait a second, that bolt seems a little far out and like it's missing a spacer. And so we got to do some removal here and reattaching, and a little bit of work to be done there, but we'll get her dialed in. I'm not worried. So we'll have to pull that apart, and I gotta do oil change on it, all that happy stuff too. So yeah, that's gonna be the first go around with this. We'll get that done, get it out. We did a SS Stainless Steel Brake Company disc brake conversion because this was 4-wheel drums, and just haven't been the happiest with the pedal feel on this. So we're gonna see about doing some bleeding on the brakes and try to get that working a little better too. So, and then we did Hotchkiss suspension. We put the larger torsion bars in it and everything, and kind of crank them up a little bit. So, because the old man, he likes a little stance of his car. So right now she's really stance because I got it on the skates for the winter. But yeah, that's where we're at. So we did all that other stuff, the brake conversion and the torsion bars and everything. That was long before having a YouTube channel was ever a fascination of mine. So I've got some pictures I think that I can include, but that's about it. So yeah, but this is the one, the first muscle car I ever drove. Took it to high school a couple times. Was very fortunate that way. Had a friend that had a 70, his dad had a 71 Charger RT, 444 speed. That was Hemi Orange. And so him and I cruised them to high school one day and parked them in the back of the lot together. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, so I'll include a few clips of the thing running and making some noise, and maybe the old man smoking the tires a little bit because he tends to do that a lot in this thing, but how can you not? So yeah, and then we'll work on finishing up our projects in the garage here, and we'll have another episode of getting the alternator spruced up and getting her ready for the season here, and we'll bust this baby out and take her for a spin.